Ah, Space 1999, the show that promised to boldly go where no one had gone before, except this time it turns out where no one had gone before, was straight into a black hole of pretentious nonsense, nuclear waste explosions, and the moon deciding it was done with Earth's orbit and just yeeted itself into deep space like a cosmic teenager running away from home. Now, picture this. It's the mid 1970s. Jerry and Sylvia Anderson, the puppet masters who gave us Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet, have finally graduated to live action humans courtesy of UFO. They've got money from Lou Grad at ITC. They've got Martin Landau and Barbara Bain, fresh off Mission Impossible, because nothing says futuristic credibility like recycling 1960s spy drama stars. And they've got a premise so gloriously insane it almost circles back to genius. Humanity's grand plan for the future: stack all of our nuclear waste on the far side of the moon because obviously the moon is just Earth's attic. Perfectly safe. No chance of anything going wrong, right? Then in September 1999, because the show was filmed in the mid 70s and someone thought 25 years later was far future, magnetic radiation or whatever hand wavy pseudoscience triggers a chain reaction. Boom! The waste detonates with the force of a billion bad decisions, and the entire moon is blasted out of orbit at speeds that would make the physicists weak. Not crack the moon, not destabilize Earth's tides into apocalyptic slurry. Just gently nudge the whole celestial body into interstellar travel. No propulsion, no control, just Moonbase Alpha, humanity's most expensive penal colony, now on the galaxy's worst road trip. And so begins the most expensive, slowest moving, most philosophically constipated space opera television has ever inflicted upon itself. The visuals, gorgeous for 1975. The Eagles, those modular shuttles, are still one of the coolest spaceship designs ever committed to film and television. The Moonbase set looks like someone raided a European airport lounge and said, yeah, but make it white, sterile, and soul crushingly beige. Brian Johnson's special effects hold up better than most things from that era. It's all very pretty. The writing, oh dear. Season 1 is a parade of existential dread wrapped in polyester jumpsuits. Commander John Koenig, Landau doing his best stern man staring in middle distance impression, spends every episode furrowing his brows so hard you worry he'll pull a muscle, while Dr. Helena Russell dispenses medical wisdom and lifelong glances like it's her second job. Professor Victor Bergman exists mostly to explain why physics doesn't apply here, then vanishes between seasons without anyone bothering to write a goodbye note. Episodes alternate between the moon drifts near a planet that is actually a god slash black sun slash a living computer slash reincarnated dead wife, and everyone stands around in main mission looking sad while synth music plays. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's if Stanley Kubrick had a nervous breakdown, fired the editor, and replaced the monolith with a weekly monster budget. Critics at the time were, well, shall I say, unimpressed. Wooden characters, banal scripts, disregard for basic science so scandalous it should be illegal. Isaac Asimov himself pointed out that any explosion capable of kicking the moon out of orbit would actually turn it into gravel. But sure, let's pretend it's fine. Regardless of my complaints, let's keep it a buck. By stripping away the endless nitpicking in physics that would make a black hole blush, and Space 1999 still managed to serve up a few good episodes that hit that sweet spot between eerie atmosphere, solid tension, and those glorious 1970s model shots that make modern CGI look like a screensaver. Even the show's harshest critics have to grudgingly admit that when it clicked, it really clicked. Now, here are episodes that I personally rank among the highest of the entire series. However, your mileage may vary. Alpha Child. The Alphas celebrate their first baby born on Moonbase Alpha because nothing screams joy in the void like bringing new life into a drifting nuclear refugee camp. Cynthia Crawford gives birth, everyone smiling through the polyester, and then the infant rapidly ages into a 5-year-old boy in minutes, right there in the incubator. It's a generally unsettling visual. The camera's pulled back on this wide-eyed kid pressing against the glass like he's auditioning for the Omen in space. The possession scenes are chilling at first, people dropping like flies, eyes gauging over, but it all pivots to a Deus Ex Machina rescue by another alien ship that blasts the bad guys and restores everyone. Poof, back to normal. Which I think is a cop out, of course, because had it been UFO, things would have been much different. The episode starts as a solid horror sci-fi hybrid. Think Rosemary's Baby meets Body Snatchers, and ends like the writers ran out of runtime and hit the reset button. Julian Glover does Menace well, but even he can't save the silver booty shorts from looking ridiculous. Testament of Arcadia. The season ender. The moon gets yanked towards a barren planet called Arcadia. Scans show dead humanoids killed by radiation 25,000 years ago. Basically space skeletons with a bad case of fallout. 2 crew members, the Dwarf, Luke Farrow and Anna Davis, go full Messiah complex. They believe this dead world is humanity's cradle, that ancient Arcadians fled to Earth. Hello, ancient astronauts' fever dream. And that restoring life here gives cosmic meaning to the moon's wanderings. They hijack supplies, hold Helena hostage, and force confrontation. Koenig tracks them. That there's moral debates about survival versus destiny, and a cave revelation with glowing intelligence that somehow releases the moon at the last second. The episode closes on Koenig's voiceover pondering purpose in the universe, as if the whole series just got a philosophical upgrade. Breakaway. The pilot episode that kicks everything off with literal fireworks. Nuclear waste goes boom. The moon, again, gets yeeted out of orbit, and suddenly everyone's existential crisis has a very large, very round deadline. The explosions are spectacular, especially for TV during the mid-70s. The stakes feel immediate, and it sets up the whole Lost in Space with no map vibe perfectly. Sure, the science is enthusiastic, but as an opener, it's got spectacle, and it introduces the core cast without dragging, and lands that irreversible "we're never going home" gut punch. And Black Sun, the one that goes full cosmic dread. The moon hurls towards a black hole or black sun, because why not give it a poetic name? Time starts stretching like taffy, and characters get quietly philosophical about oblivion while the special effects do their moody thing. It's slower, more contemplative, almost meditative in its isolation, and it leans into the show's better instincts, wonder mixed with quiet terror. No monster of the week, just a universe reminding everyone how small they are. Then came Season 2. The American syndication market apparently decided the problem wasn't the premise or the pacing. It was that the show wasn't enough like Star Trek crossed with a Saturday morning cartoon. Enter Fred Friedberger, the man who helped cancel the original OG Star Trek, and yes, that's the resume highlight.
I was asked by Abe Mandel in New York if we could use an American writer. Long story, but eventually I said okay. And I met Fred Freiberger, who died recently, unfortunately, who was a writer on the very first Star Trek.
New producer, new tone, more action, more monsters, more humor, less brooding. They fired half the staff, added Catherine Schell as the shape-shifting Maya, because what this show needed was a sexy alien sidekick who turns into tigers, and pretend Professor Bergman just died off screen or something. No one cared enough to explain. And especially without Sylvia Anderson's creative input, this helped to cement why Season 2 was the death knell of Space 1999, as she departed possibly due to creative differences. And the Andersons' separation didn't help much either. The result? A show that went from ponderous metaphysical misery to generic monster of the week schlock. Ratings improved slightly in some markets because kids liked the monsters, but the soul was gone as if it never existed. After 48 episodes across two wildly mismatched seasons, the moon just kept drifting. No resolution, and there's definitely no return to Earth, and no explanation of how humanity survived having its only natural satellite stolen. The show ended the way it began, with a whimper, a bad science premise, and a lot of expensive sets gathering dust. In the end, Space 1999 is the perfect artifact of 1970s sci fi hubris. It had more budget than sense, more style than substance, and more ambition than talent to execute it. It dreamed of being profound while tripping over its own scientific shoelaces. It wanted to be Star Trek for adults, but ended up as the moody European cousin who shows up to the family reunion, refuses to smile, and leaves without saying goodbye. We never made it to 1999 with moon bases and nuclear waste storage problems, thankfully. But if we had, at least we had the Eagles to escape in. That's assuming the moon didn't decide to ghost us first. So here's the Space 1999, the show that proved even the moon can have a midlife crisis, and that sometimes boldest vision is the one that spectacularly fails to launch.